Welcome back to Low and Snow. Spring is finally here and we're finally moving on to our next project. And this is it. What's the worst that can happen? Another free light bulb! Oh yeah! Hell yeah! Ooh! Woo! So much room! Woo-hoo-hoo! So good! If it broke off. We actually got this thing for free via some friends, and it made it all the way to the crushers. Not a junkyard, it wasn't gonna get picked over for parts, it was getting crushed the next day. Sebbe managed to get a trailer and go pick this thing up for free, and we're so happy we got it. It has so much potential, really complete, all the glasses here. We just want to start digging into this thing. Let's check the inside out. Look at the state of this interior. By the looks of it, you would have thought it was parked in California, but it's been in northern Sweden its whole life. I don't know what happened to this interior, but it's complete. It's a bit taken apart, but one of the coolest things is it was sold brand new in our hometown, and now it's made its way back here. The odometer shows 76,000, almost 77,000 kilometers, which is nothing, but this thing, I guess, wasn't used for road trips. It has been sitting since 1995. That makes it the longest time a car's been sitting before we get our hands on it. It's kind of falling apart, both fabric and plastics. We don't have a key. The trunk doesn't open, and we know nothing about this car. Perfect start. That's the lightest car seat ever. Wow. Oh. We just need some new seat covers, and this thing is like brand new. Ooh. Look at that. Some carpet. And it's flexible because it hasn't been in the sun. Score. Like all cars up in this part of the world, if you don't use it during winter, the roof will crumble, like get a big dent from all the snow. Can we fix the headliner this easy? Oh yeah. We're basically done. I don't know. Let's go. One of my absolute favorite design aspects of this car are the gauges. Super clean layout, and just check out the numbers on that dial. They look amazing. That's just some great design, and VDO is actually really high quality stuff. And speaking of great design, looking amazing and high quality stuff, check out the very first Low and Snow t-shirt. Designed by me and Sebbe, hand drawn by me and printed in our hometown. These shirts are available right now at our website in both black and white. Go get some! We haven't looked at this car at all. We just dropped it off from the trailer and we haven't looked at anything. Let's see if we can get this open. Alright, paperwork. Fried green tomatoes. That's the movie Stekta gröna tomater, was rented in Kiruna in 1998, I think. 1993, they rented the movie Fried Green Tomatoes. They bought a padded black jacket in 1991. This car went through inspection, and it passed inspection in 1994. It was parked a year later. We're not going to show any names. Whew, they went to prison. No, I'm just kidding. This is the money they made. The taxes. We're not interested in that. go travel by the Swedish trains in the 90s, get an education in Sweden as an adult in the 90s. Ooh, offer for parents with kids in kindergarten. This is like a life story in this glove compartment. What is this? Ooh, an old map of our hometown. Look at that. Kiruna, Sweden. Check it out. Google that shit. We're way above Alaska, if you don't know. Alaska. Oh, more kindergarten stuff. Look at this drawing. That's amazing. Now, not too much about the car. Oh, another free light bulb. That's insane. Oh, we love a free light bulb. That's our favorite thing. Once again, coins that you can't use for anything, but that's pretty cool. We're gonna see if there's a date. 1977, 1979. During my lifetime, I've never used coins like this. And I'm old. That's it for the glove compartment. Oh, look at that ice hockey scraper. That is cool. Wow. Someone pulled this, what's it called? A blanking plate. They pulled this out and they installed some freaking audio in this thing. Look at that. They went for the Handic Ween stereo. If you know what's what, you go with Handic Ween. Wellington boot. All that paperwork. Pen. Free pen. We're gonna be careful with this. This is the headlight surround for the one of the sides. And like I mentioned, like all of the seat belts are unscrewed and they're just thrown into the corner here. They look like they're in decent condition. And like the hardware is here as well. Look at that. So we'll hopefully just screw this back together. This is the mirror for the left hand side. It's broken off here. Let's see what we can do about that. But this is a good looking mirror. That's pretty clean. And look at that. This thing might not be considered a real Volvo by some, but it says it right there. This is a Volvo. Might be a Dutch Volvo, but it's a Volvo. And this thing is also completely loose. So maybe I can just move it over and check out the trunk. And I'm sure there's coins. I'm sure there's money under here. There has to be money. Look at this. 10mm, a Yamaha 10mm. Wow, I know why I'm in this business. Free stuff, free gloves. Oh, I never noticed. It doesn't have a rear view mirror up front, so that's the rear view mirror. And oh, the best out of all, stock hubcaps. I hope we can find all of the hubcaps. Look at that, 2 hubcaps, 3 hubcaps. It's gonna be so much cooler with the hubcaps. Imagine if the last hubcap is in here. That's all I want. What's this? Oh! I don't want to inhale this stuff. What is this? Some kind of bag. Ooh, Tiffany discotheque. Wow, that's pretty cool. But I don't want to touch this thing. Oh.
Står det klippa?
Bältesstolen, Klippan Kombi. That's a seat for little kids. I lied to you guys when I said we've got no keys. We do have some keys. And we did actually kind of try these out last summer when we picked it up. I don't know what these keys are for. We did meet with the owner who gave us the car, and he said the key for the ignition is broken off inside of the ignition. But let's see if we can get the trunk opened using one of these keys. gonna need all the lube it can get. That feels kind of correct. Look at that! We managed to get it open! That's cool. Is there a hubcap, Sebbe? Look at that. We've got 2 of these triangles if you get into an accident. Safety first. And 2 spare wheels. That is actually really good. Because the ones that are on the car are completely crap. Ooh, look at that. Very old GT wax. This is cool, honestly. Some brake fluid, distilled water for the battery, alcohol, some serial killer accessories. Oh, more free tools. A belt, but I don't want to get rid of any hardware because we might just need everything we've got in here. Is it a Volvo jack? Nope. Some straps. Let's see if it's got a spare wheel, or maybe that last hubcap is underneath here. That's all I'm hoping for. No. Oh, yeah, you know what? This thing doesn't have the spare wheel in the rear. We're gonna show you where the spare wheel goes. Little bit of rust down here underneath this plate that's riveted in place. So it's mainly this piece here that's rusted, not the actual body of the car. Otherwise it's so rust free, this thing. So we've had a look at the interior and the trunk. Let's see what's under the hood.
So this is the 1977 Volvo 66. It started out as a DAF 66, built by the Dutch company DAF. But in the mid-70s, Volvo bought the company's passenger car division to get into the small car market. And that's how the Volvo 66 was born. Compared to the big boxy Volvos people were used to, the 66 felt completely different. Small, light, belt-driven, and pretty slow. And instead of a normal gearbox, it used something called variomatic transmission. Basically a CVT system using rubber belts and pulleys instead of gears. So there's no shifting, no gear change, just seamless acceleration. And most of them came with a tiny 1.1 or 1.3 liter engine, making around 45 to 57 horsepower. Not very much, but it was enough for a car this light. Volvo also changed a few things to make the car feel more like their own. Adding extra safety, strengthening the body, making it feel more solid. And even though the Volvo 66 was never fast or luxurious, it had its own personality. It was simple and different, and honestly, a pretty cool little 70s car.
That's the tiny little engine, and from the research I've done, it's a 1.3 liter Renault engine. It's called the Client Fonte, something like that, and it's one of the most produced European engines ever. Renault used this block from the early 60s until the early 2000s in different sizes and different kind of configurations with the fuel and turbos and stuff. So it's been in everything from the smallest economy cars to some fast little hatchbacks like the Renault 5 Turbo and stuff. We haven't spun it over. That's the very first thing we want to do. See if it turns over. Let's go. To get better access for working on this thing and filming, we're gonna remove the hood. And before we do that, we're just gonna scribe the sides of these hood mounts. And that reminds me, why don't you like, comment, and subscribe? Så nice! Fan vad kul! Fan vad kul alltså! Huh? Jag skruvar i dem här. So much room for activities! Alright. I'm gonna get a 19mm wrench on the crank bolt. And we'll just see if this thing turns over. Hell yeah! Sitting since 1995. But the previous owner did say the engine has never been the problem with this thing. This thing was parked because the brake master cylinder failed and this car rolled into a pole, a light pole, a light post, a light post. That's why it was parked, and that's why it's got this dent in the front. But we'll be able to straighten that out, I think. We'll just try and straighten it out. Now the engine turns over, but we're definitely gonna remove the spark plugs, get some lubrication down there. We'll film down into the cylinders, and then we'll just see if we can figure out something with the ignition and the starter, I guess. We're just gonna start by checking one cylinder at a time. Look at that. I mean, looks pretty good. Seen worse. It hasn't got like build up on it. It's a bit black, but there's no real build up. Yep. This one is, it looks like it's almost at top dead center. Can't really see much. Maybe we'll actually keep the camera in there and turn it over. I mean, it spins over easy. There's no crunching or stuff like that. Another thing we are gonna do with all of these spark plugs is check the gaps. If you don't think this matters, that's on you. I've seen it make a huge difference. We're aiming for 0.7 and the first one is dead on. That's cylinder number 1. It looks good, the spark plug looks good, and it's got some motor oil in there as lubrication. Just what the doctor ordered. Now we're gonna check the oil. All the cylinders look fine and the spark plug gaps are fixed. We're just gonna see what it's got for oil. Look at that. Ooh, that's dark. Smells a little bit of gasoline, but it's not very runny. Look at that, it's got some viscosity to it. Looks pretty good, except it's really dirty, but maybe good enough to get it running. Look at that notch. I guess that's spot on. Oh, look at that. It was parked in 1995 and it's perfect. Alright, it turns over and we've lubricated the engine. Oil looks fine, all of that good stuff. Now, we want to check for spark and we want to see if we can turn it over using the starter. And the best way for us to do that would be to turn the key. We don't have a perfect way of doing that, so we're gonna figure it out. Alright, so what's happening is I'm getting one of these keys that looks pretty good. I'm getting it to move into there, go all the way in, but it won't turn. I mean, it doesn't budge. So I did a little bit of drilling. Shouldn't have drilled that out. It's not moving anything. I did drill this hole out just slightly larger. And have a look at this. Look at the ignition barrel. Look at that. Once again, Low and Snow are drilling out ignition barrels. I think our main audience is weirdos and car thieves. Ah, come on. Yes! This means we can almost certainly turn the key. Or, yeah, the screwdriver, at least. Look at this. It turns. But it was actually pretty stuck in there. So I did try to turn the key inside the ignition barrel when it was out of there, and it seems like it's still not the right key. So this is a good solution to see if it will run. So the next thing to do is try and connect a battery. Sebbe put one of these fancy quick release ones on here. We'll get that one on there, and then this big sketchy ground. See if it works. It's not sparking. Let's see if there's any signs of life inside or outside. No headlights came on, but the key is left in the off position, of course. Now, what happens if I do turn the key slightly? Oh, that should be ignition on. Whew. Any life? Not really expecting much of it to work straight away, but we'll try and push some buttons and see if we get any lights flashing. Nothing. Nothing. What about the rear? Nope. No lights. Like a horn. Where is the horn? Oh, look at that. Nothing. Alright, nothing happened when we turned the key. Nothing at all. And the ground from the battery to the engine looks really good. But the ground to the chassis is basically non-existent. And we don't have the right stuff to make it, good. But we do have some stuff that might make it work. Some household wiring to make a ground. Alright, we might not be electricians, but these two black cables, they're in the perfect spot to be positives. And we just gambled and placed one of them on the positive. Look at that. Look at that flasher. So we're gonna connect those two to positive, see if that changes stuff. But look at all of the indicators for the front are working. The right one on the rear as well after 31 years. Quality. I tried turning off the emergency flashers and just look at that symbol. That's like 4 flashing light bulbs. That's the emergency flashers. Hilarious. The real test is, will it turn over? Alright. The plan now is to test it out using this cheater switch. I don't want to be in front of this weird thing. Will this work? Hell yeah! Sounds smooth! But we don't want to pull any kind of fuel up to the engine. What's happening is this little pivot point for the throttle cable is completely stuck. The cable looks fine and the carburetor side is moving really, really well. Everything's lubricated, but now we're just trying to knock that pivot point loose. So stuck on there. Oh. All right. Next order of business is checking for spark. No spark. Let's check the distributor out. Oh, these are some stale coil wires. Looks a bit dirty and crusty. We'll just clean everything up. This should have points, I'm guessing. That's the point. Now do we have spark? Let's find out. Kom igen nu! Ja! Jajamän! Alright, we've got spark finally. We think the points were dirty. We're all ready to try and get some kind of life with some starting fluid. Okay, let's go.
Jävlar vad du...
Vet du vad det där gick inget bra?
Nej men det här...
No. Alright, so on the first attempt we found out the fuel pump works. So we're gonna catch that in here and try and start it on some starting fluid, okay? Nej, nu börjar batteriet.
Hörru, vänta. Vi gasar lite.
Oj, jävlar. Okej. Ja. So good! It sounds so good! Wow! One more time! Wow, 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 wow. Okay, one more time. Oh! Oh, the fuel pump works. That's for sure. That's so good. I'm so happy. And everyone always says the fuel was better 30 years ago. So we're just gonna try and run it on what's in the fuel tank. What's the worst that can happen? Whoa. Nej. Pop, poppy, top, pop. Synd att man bröt sönder den där som var form.
Det var gasen. Kör igen.
This thing starts up so good, like the second the ignition isn't on, you know it's not on.
Jag tror inte det behövs.
What?
Jag tänkte
What the fuck? I covered up that vacuum leak with my finger and it's basically idling. Like we haven't touched the carb. But we're using fresh fuel now. Oh, this is doing so good, this thing. We're gonna try and use the choke.
Den där måste du också koppla in.
Oj, then. Oh, another big vacuum leak. This is... Okay. A little bit of choke. Okay. Like a sewing machine! This is crazy fucking hell! Alltså vi måste ju döda den. Vi får hälla vatten i den här, vi dödar den. Cheers! Have a look at that! This thing is doing so good! But the scary part that we haven't even really touched on yet is the transmission in this thing. These cars are known for one thing, and that's the CVT transmission. The continuously variable transmission, which means it's belt driven with two variators in the rear, one for each wheel, which means there's two big rubber belts that drive this thing. But we're gonna do the right thing and just try and slam it into drive and see what happens. Another funny fact that we haven't even mentioned. This thing has 3 lug wheels, and we're using the jack that we found in the trunk to get this thing off, because the rear left is just so bad we don't even want to know. Look at this thing. So that's the plan. We're gonna jack it up and switch this out. 22mm lug. What the fuck? A bit of violence gets you a long way. Don't go crazy with the hammer though, because you will break these drums. All right, we're getting it to turn a bit easier, but look at that witchcraft going on in there. That's the CVT transmission, or part of it. So of course that's also gonna be quite heavy to turn all of that. All right, we're on the right hand side, and let's just take a second to appreciate how freaking rust free this thing is. Look at these wheel arches. There's not even a spot of rust. Partially because it's been parked for ages, and partially because the north of Sweden barely gets any salt or rust. Disc brakes up front, and equally as rust free. Whoa! Look at that! Just get a wheel on there and let's go! Alright, all 4 wheels are turning. Let's see which ones hold air. This one was in the trunk, and I think it's actually got a little bit of air in it still.
Keep some burn.
Throw for it now. Next one, coming up. This one looks sketchy. This one just gets 35 psi. That's it for this first part of the Volvo 66 rescue. The thing runs and it drives. All we could ask for in part number 1. Make sure to like comment and subscribe, because we're gonna be back working on this thing, making it run and drive really good, fixing the brakes, making it pass inspection, and getting it back on the road, and hopefully a third part where we make it look good. And remember, if you want to support us even more than you're already doing by watching this, make sure to check out the first t-shirt design on our website, available in both black and white. Thank you guys for watching.